there everyone, thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about A Curse of Ash and Embers by Joe Spurrier. This is a book I kind of have mixed feelings about, just because I feel like the plot diminishes a lot and I feel like it drags as well. So it follows Elodie. She is sent off by her family to go, be a serving girl. Little does she know, this serving girl is a witch, and the witch didn't even send for her. The witch is very much confused by her appearance, as she is, especially because she has to deal with a lot of shit that is going on in her own world, like a curse, monsters roaming the land. I mean, there's a lot for her to contend with, and it's just really interesting to see their dynamic. I mean, that's kind of what I did like about this book. It's one of the few elements I actually did enjoy, their dynamic. But it was just kind of, I think, poorly paced, and I think the story itself is just not very cohesive, in my opinion. And that's such a shame, because I was so looking forward to this book. I saw the title, I saw the synopsis, I was just like, oh, this seems really interesting, definitely up my alley. But it wasn't. To be quite plain, I was bored. I was bored by it, ultimately. And that's really unfortunate. I hate when a book bores me, just because then I feel like I can't really give a review that I want to give. I mean, you can already hear me right now. This isn't the most engaging podcast, and I do apologize for that. But I just wish there had been more to the story. I mean, okay, that's the wrong thing to say. There is more to the story, clearly. There is a lot going on with the story. What I think failed the story was the fact that there was just too much going on, because nothing was really wrapped up in a engaging way. Okay, so Elodie's sent off. She doesn't know who has sent her off. There is clearly magic involved, but yes, this is part of the series. I understand that it's not resolved, it's not fixed. There really is no resolution to the story. And then you have this warlock who's come by, and he demands this dryad that was promised him. Alright, great. It's another story that's going on. And then you have the ghost of the former Blackbone witch, who was, what was her name again? Alicia? The current Blackbone witch's, mentor. Alright, that's already, a little bit that's going on, but, still no resolution. We don't know who sent for Elodie. We don't know why she's really special, because she doesn't really do anything extraordinary. She's quite ordinary as far as the story is concerned. She really is quite ordinary. And while I do like that she is ordinary, it does create more mystery to the story, because you are wondering as a reader, like, who sent for her? Does it have something to do with her father? Is there some secret she doesn't know about? The old witch, her ghost, clearly knows about her. But we still don't know anything about her, about Elodie. And I really wish we did know more about her, because I feel like that story arc was just kind of hanging there throughout the story. Now, the story arc with the warlock, that one is short and swift. It is brought to life and then extinguished as soon as it's brought to life. Once again, the story is more about Elodie, and Elodie's just not that fascinating of a protagonist. She's a thoughtful character, but she's just so very, I guess, bland and slightly boring. I'm sorry. I wasn't feeling it. She wasn't vibrant enough, or, there was nothing to make her stand off the pages, to make the reader, want to follow her, because she is, like I said, very bland. She just kind of does what she needs to do. She has some fun adventures in the story, don't get me wrong, but other than that, I don't think she is the most compelling of protagonists. She doesn't really change. She does have some really good one-liners. I will say that there are some really funny one-liners where she's just like, great, I'm stuck in a witch, surrounded by monsters, I'm gonna go take a nap now. She does have really good one-liners, don't get me wrong. But once again, I think that has more to do with her dynamic with the Blackbone Witch. I did like their dynamic. I did like how the Blackbone Witch is just like, you don't want to be here, kid. Here's some money. If you want to leave, go ahead and leave. If you want to stay, well, bring some food back with you. I think that their dynamic is interesting. I did enjoy that part of the novel. I thought that's where most of the vitality was, with them interacting with one another. But again, I wanted more, I guess, snark. I wanted more ferocity when it came to the Blackbone Witch, because I feel like, she's supposed to be this big bad witch, and she's really not. Not to say that's a bad thing, it is a misconception of the people around her. They all think, oh God, she's going to be just like her master. And, we see Elodie stick up for her a lot, being like, no, she's actually really nice. You should give her a chance. She's nothing like her master. That is something I did enjoy. How she's constantly standing up for this woman who really just kind of doesn't want her around. But, again, that's not really enough to compel me to read it. I was struggling. This was a struggle for me to read. I'm pretty sure you can tell just by the fact that I'm struggling to find the right words to describe this book. I was just not entertained by it as much as I had hoped I would be. I was, like I said, bored. I was bored when I was reading it. It really, I stuck through it. There were some really good plot twists. I did like the imagery and detail that went into the novel. Let me say that. I did like that. That was something I did enjoy. But otherwise, I find myself at a loss of how to appreciate this novel, to be perfectly honest with you. Not my favorite that I've read this year or even this month. I really wish that I had been given a little bit more substance when it came to the storytelling. That is what I wish for, honestly. But, you live and you learn. This book does have a sequel to it. At first, I did put it on my want-to-read list on Goodreads, but I think I'm going to go ahead and change that, mainly because, I can't really find anything worth of substance for this novel. I think this is probably going to be my shortest podcast just because, again, I can't find anything worthwhile to say, and I hate that. I hate that I'm unable to find anything worthwhile to say, and I really don't want to go on this whole spiel for talking about how I didn't like it, I wasn't impressed, I did find it boring. I think you've already gotten that by now if you're still listening. You haven't already hung up on this podcast. But it's a character-driven story. It is a character-driven story. It's about Elodie growing as a character. She was really just diminished by her family, and now she's really coming into her own and discovering things about herself. So that I did like. I think that that's interesting. I will say that if a character-driven story, it is a slow-paced novel. But if you are interested in a character-driven story with beautiful imagery and detail and scene construction, this is definitely going to be the novel for you. I was just expecting a faster pace, given all the elements that go into constructing the plot. That is what I wanted from this novel. So once again, this was A Curse of Ash and Embers by Joe Spurrier. I give it 3 stars. Again, there is some beautiful scene construction. There is some beautiful imagery. I did like the uniqueness that this author used for the magic. And I did like the dynamic between the Blackbone Witch and Elodie. That is something I did like. I did enjoy that. But overall, I don't think Elodie was a strong enough character to carry this novel. And I think she needed more work and a stronger personality. But, that being said, it was okay. I recommend purchasing the book off of bookshop.org if you want to go ahead and give this book a shot. If you're on the fence, I recommend checking it out from your local library. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope you will continue to support me by liking this podcast and sharing it with your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.